Alright, here I will be exploring my prototype for Frontier Division. My game is essentially a dice rolling, auction, set collection type game with some market manipulation. I'll show you a few things I've been working on. Essentially, the game has these components you see here, which is a couple of player boards, some cards, a market board, some tiles, dice, tokens, and some chips like this, along with a couple of markers here for the to manage the game system. What a player does is they take a turn, and it goes in two phases. They start out by rolling some dice. Then they will be using this die here to determine what kind of resource gets added to a pool. And they'll be picking a couple of cards from this deck of resources based off of one of the dice they choose. So let's say they chose the 5. And what they would do is reveal 5 cards, like so. And then they would use another die, let's say this 3, to select 3 of them based off of, you know, what's on the card. And they'll set 3 of them with this resource here. Now other players will use cards that they've already accumulated in their hand and secretly bid on them. See, this one has a bid value of 44 and this one has a bid value of 3. If 2 players bid and these were the cards, the 3 would lose and it would go down to their little set collection tableau, and the 44 would win and it would go into a discard pile, and that player would get to choose first, which pile of resources do I want, the 2 or the 3, and the 3 also comes with this extra token. That player, let's say it was this one, would take these cards and the token, and the player who revealed the cards, let's say it was this 3rd player, would get to add these to their hand. Now this goes on, and essentially what I've been working on is a way to accumulate more resources here, because there's only so many ways, and I need to add more. What they are useful for is cashing them in to get these, they're called contract tiles. Like this one here, you need 2 microbes and you get 3 points. This one you spend a gold, a crystal, and a microbe to get 4 points. And once these are gone, you just replenish them from the stack, which I have hidden over here. Players will also, after they use their 2 dice to split the cards, they'll use the remaining dice, which I just flipped over, but doesn't matter. Excuse me. They'll use these for these actions that they have on their player board. Now, when I play tested, I realized I didn't have enough actions, and my player boards aren't specific enough. So I'm going to have to redesign the graphic layout here. So this one, it says 1, but what it means is any value, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Same with this one. So I think I'm going to put some indicators on the board to say that. There's also some other actions, and their values are more specific. What I need to do is add a few more actions that allow you to get more tokens, and that allow you more likely to manipulate this market board. Now at the end of the game, what will happen is a player will have accumulated a number of cards. See, there's a different type that I didn't explain. I'm not going to right now. You can read my descriptions from the past to know how they work. Pardon me. Now what you'll have here is a series of cards. This is, here, I'll show you this one too. I haven't finished the graphic design on this one because I don't quite like my abilities, but we'll get to that later. What you do is you accumulate these cards in front of you, and they're going to be worth something at the end of the game. And let's say I just want to find another blue one here. We'll keep that one too. There we go. That'll work. So what happens is you will have accumulated a set of cards in front of you in your tableau. And according to where this marker is, that tells you how many points you'll be getting. So for this, the green cards, you need sets of 3. If there's 4, you only get points for 3. So in this case, it's 3 points for every set of 3. On this resource, it has a different scale. This one is a whoever has the most, so it's an all or nothing. If you have the most of whatever this resource is, or, then you'll get however many points this is on. Finally, you have this resource type here. Oh, I'm throwing them away. That's okay. This one is a scrap metal, and depending on how many you have, it shows you how far up the scale your points are. So if you have very few, it's worth a lot. If you have very many, it's worth a lot. But if you have kind of a middle range, it's not worth so much. You either try to go in on collecting them or refrain from collecting them. And there's ways to remove them from your tableau as the game goes on. After one player finishes their turn, the player marker goes up because everybody takes a set number of turns. And at the end, you count points for how many of these you've collected, and it'll tell you how many points they're worth, how many unique technology tokens you've collected using the token action, and you'll also be collecting points based off of if any of these cards are in your hand. I'll just draw it 5. Let's say they're in your hand. Now you can see at the bottom here, if it's in your hand, it's worth a number of points. So you'd go through and you'd count how many points are left in your hand. Alright, thank you for listening to my explainer of Frontier Division. Let me just end the capture.